Good morning. Welcome to my take at the lake. It's Care. It's Saturday, so you know what that means. That means chores day, laundry day, cleaning day, etc., etc. So why not make a video day? Put it off as long as I can, right? That's what I do. Another thing I like to do here at my take at the lake, there's tons and tons and tons of how-to videos. Many of them showing you different ways to do similar things, and that's part of what I do here at my take at the lake. But my big thing, I think the biggest thing I have to offer this community is ideas. I am an idea generator, and in fact I have another channel and podcast all about idea generation and the creative process and creativity in general, because ideas are my life. And I wanted to share this idea with you. For anybody who's interested, I think it's a new take. I haven't seen anyone do this particular thing just yet. There's 2 or 3 things here that I haven't seen elsewhere. Not that I've seen every video out there, but I have seen a lot. and I haven't seen these. So that's my biggest goal here with my take at the lake, is to give you my take on things and hopefully share some ideas that are new to you or new twists on old ideas. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is introduce you to a new friend of mine and talk about her and how she got her name. She's right here, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. Her. I guess, why wait? That's not true. I digress. Sometimes I script these, most of the times I don't, so I apologize for the ramble. But what I wanted to say is that I love 49 Dragonflies. Barbara from Vienna. Good morning, Bridley. Morning, Bitsy. Yep, they just got up, so they're a little wound. Hi, buddy. Oh, there he goes. Dropped his ball. Time for breakfast. Shh. Okay. All right. Riley's around here too somewhere. Anyway, 49 Dragonflies is doing a lot of altered books, and I love altered books. But I also, and she's using an altered book as her daily planner, which I think is magnificent. I just love that whole idea. She alters pages as she goes. I think she does 1 month at a time. This is a book that I did for a friend of mine as a gift. And it's just simply an altered book that she can do with what she pleases. She loves Kermit, so there's a lot of Kermit in there, and there's a lot of friendship quotes, which will be a digikit on my Etsy store shortly. So go and check that out if you're interested in adding some. They're just simple text. They're all different fonts. I hid a lot of them, so she's gonna have to go find them, but I'll try to show you some of those at the end. Anyway, so this is just an altered book that my friend can do with what she pleases. Hello, buddy. Yes, I know you want to. But the other thing that I really like is having the best of both worlds, having it all, so to speak. So in our world, the junk journal world, there's junk journals, of course, which I've got a few started here, some signatures started here of just miscellaneous dyed paper, some painted, coffee dyed, avocado dyed. There's some music in some of them. There's just everything. That's junk journal. We all know junk journals. Also in our world are traveler's notebooks. This one happens to be store-bought. It's hard to say no to that little face. Look how excited he is. Look how happy he is. Try and throw it there so he has a soft place to land. Oh, there. They're back. I'm sorry, I know you're here for junk journals, not dogs, but the reason I'm here working at home is because of the dogs. So welcome to our channel. They are a part of it. So I have Traveler's Notebooks. This is store-bought, three signature. I just love this little guy. Even though I make journals, I can't resist buying them when they're so awesome. So we have Altered Book, we have Junk Journal, and we have Traveler's Notebook. And my idea was, or my thought was, could I gut the center part of my Altered Book, leaving the front and the back half, where I could insert a Traveler's Notebook, Traveler's style notebook, not size, of course, but so it would fit this book, but Traveler's Notebook. So you could put in and out a journaling space or a calendar or something. Well, I was well into making these books, and I didn't want to ruin it, right? We get a little precious once we start a project, and that, who can blame? There's a lot of work and time, you know. But there are also a lot of people who are just afraid to start. They've seen all these videos, they've been watching and watching, and they really want to start, but they're afraid of starting for quote-unquote screwing up. It's paper, glue, and some time. I mean, you're not going to screw anything up, but that doesn't mean people still aren't afraid of it. Myself, I didn't want to wreck what I had worked on for so long, but I didn't want to give up the idea either. And so I will introduce you to my friend, Wreck-it Rita. She is a little bit bigger than my ideal size. I love the size. I don't know why. It's just the right size for me. And as you can see, Miss Rita is a little too wide and a little too tall for my liking. So I knew that I wasn't going to use this as an altered book or a junk journal, because if I put my little junk journal folded papers in there, they swim, right? She's just way too big. So I knew that I wasn't going to use this book for much of anything. But she is now my new best friend. So what I did, to answer the question, could I gut a book? So this book has signatures that are both sewn in and then glued to the spine or to the piece that was attached to the spine. So to answer the question, yes, in fact, I could take out the center bits, because, I'm sorry I'm doing this with one hand, you know, it's supposed to be a quickie when I don't set up the camera holder in the studio. So this half is altered book and this half is altered book. I have taken pages out. They're ready to be glued and folded as such, or whatever I want to do to them. This one has a pocket. It's already glued, has a pocket. This is an old library book, so it already has a nice library pocket, an original, actual library pocket. Love it. So to answer the question, yes, in fact, I could take that center bit out. I also recently purchased a Crocodile Crocodile 2 Big Bite. I've never used one before, so I wanted to know how it went through spines before I did any damage to the ones I was working on. And I've never set an eyelet with them, so I picked out the ugliest ones I could. I will probably never use, they're not Halloween orange, they're just like a dirty mustard yellow. I can't imagine using them on anything. I did sacrifice a pumpkin orange one, some pink. You know, I just grabbed some ugly colors. This pink thread, not a big pink person, and it's too skinny, but I wanted to figure out how to make this enclosure. So it comes out of the center and it goes up around. This is all one piece. It It is the place that the Traveler's Notebook rests in, and it is also the enclosure, and it's all one piece, and I wanted to figure out how to do that. So I used Wreck-it Rita and figured out how it worked, and I learned a lot in that process. And I made notes as I go, like how long I used, you know, what was the length of the cord that I had to use, and which holes to put it in and when. Another thing that I wanted to know was these paper/cloth covered books that I'm big on working in. I've got about 20 of these that I'm making. I wanted to know what my alcohol ink sprays would do through a stencil. And so that's how we got that mess. If you look closely here, you see it says imagination right here. And if you'll notice, it is backwards. I'm not big into stamping. I'm not big into spending a whole lot of money on stamps. I did want a text stamp because I'm a writer, and most of my projects are for writing journals. And I just wanted a text stamp. So anyway, I've been looking and looking and looking and looking. And the one I want seems to be elusive, like a unicorn. I can't find it. But this was a Tim Holtz one. It's called Reflections. It was a 3-stamp set called Reflections, and it had imagination in type font. It had some numbers, I believe, and I want to say like a script font of some sort. Usually I read the reviews on everything, and I didn't this time. It's a stamp. How could they screw it up? Well, had I read the reviews, I'd have known that the Reflections is not reflections as in reflecting on your day in a journal. Reflections means mirror image in this case. All 3 stamps were purposely made backwards. What the fuck? Really? Why? And I Googled it, and I looked on YouTube, and there was a Tim Holtz video explaining that if you stamp it, you ink it, and then you stamp it, and then you emboss it, and you put it through this machine, and the moon is blue on Tuesday, it'll look right. And I made it, oh, for God's sake, are you kidding me? It should say somewhere in great big red letters, this stamp prints backwards. Or instead of reflections, call it Reflections Mirror Image Stamps, or something to alert the consumer that's spending $20 on a stamp. It's gonna print backwards unless you do 3 somersaults under a blue moon on a Tuesday in the month of October. I mean, really? Sorry, a little bit of a rant there. But needless to say, I cleaned off. I have the Stampin' Up! Stamp cleaning set, and I cleaned that thing to pristine and sent her back because I'm not gonna do all of those calisthenics to make that stamp work. But thankfully, I didn't just go, oh, I love this imagination. It's so cool. And I love the typeset stamp font. I love it. And put it right here on a book I got hours into. Oh, I'd have sent the whole book to Tim Holtz personally at home. We'd have had a row, he and I. Yes, we would have. But I didn't. I had Wreck-it Rita. So Wreck-it Rita, because of Wreck-it Rita, Mr. Holtz is safe. Joking, of course. I would never hurt him. He's an amazing, talented creator. But this is a good case of branding and not being too close to the project, to not stand a little bit away from it and go, Reflections. Is that real clear to the consumer? Like, will they know it prints backwards? So anyway, I have Miss Wreck-it Rita. Nothing was lost. My books that I'm really working on were saved from what I think is ugly. You know, it went from being an amazing, cool thing to it just irritates the bejesus out of me every time I see it. But it's in a perfect place. It's on Wreck-it Rita. I don't care. What do I care? I've also tried just different things. I was in the mood to collage, and I wasn't working on any specific things, so I tried that. I'm learning about the right, like what, I don't know. This works, but somehow, maybe it's this bead. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. It stops this from coming out too far. Where this one, it's either all on this side, which makes them, of course, not stay in right. It's perfect, though, when it's all on this side, right? So I've got to work that out. I've got to put a bead here or something. And again, Wreck-it Rita is the place to work that stuff out so that when I do my books that I like, hello again, I've got it all figured out. Well, at least partially. I certainly don't have it all figured out. But so the good news is I've done it now successfully. What I originally started out with Miss Rita to do was altered book style. I haven't done many pages in this. I've torn out the pages for an altered book. I may have even, I don't even think I glued them. I folded them where I want my pockets to be, etc. But I haven't done any gluing. But here's my traveler's notebook. So there's, I want to say I put 10 pages in here, maybe 15. So 15 times 2 would be 30. So there might be 60 surfaces in here on which to write. You know, that's a lot of writing. And this is just a hairband. It's a little wider than I'd like. But when I started these, smack in the middle of COVID lockdown when everyone is making their own masks, elastic is like the holy grail. So these hairbands are almost the exact right length. They're a little wide for my taste, but it does the job. I did sew the signature. So this goes in and out of my altered book. So if I want to keep this as just a commonplace book or a photo album, I can do that and then take these in and out as they fill up and exchange them. And so back to my friend's book that I made for her. I may or may not do a flip through on this. I'm not sure. We have some book bling because I just think danglies and pretties and sparklies are the bomb. Yeah, that's how old I am. I use really crappy old phrases. Covered the spine with a piece of fabric. Here again, another hair tie. The book itself is all altered and ready for her to do with whatever she pleases. She can use it as a photo album. She can use it as a journal. I gave her a white jelly pen so she can write on these dark pages if she wants to do that. There's all kinds of little tuck spots and whatnot. This is the front half of the book. In the center, she's a huge Rick Springfield fan, so in the center is a traveler's notebook. And this just pulls out, so when she, whatever she does, if she writes love letters to Rick every day, every night before she goes to bed, whether she keeps daily grocery lists with Rick at her side, whatever she does with this, once she fills this up, she can take it out, and I've made her several other ones. So she's got 4 to get her started. I'm also going to send her my DigiKit journal pages, just simple journal pages with journaling words on them, like journal and write and journey and explore and believe, and those kind of things are just plain. I do have a set that's on varied paper, so if she doesn't want just plain copy paper with those words, she could also print like a mock junk journal, because she's not a junk journaler, but she might not want plain paper. So I'll send her both of those PDFs so that she can refill this as she goes. And of course, there's all different Rick pictures in here. I would never sell this, by the way. Of course, all these pictures are copyrighted and whatnot. I'm not selling this. This is not for sale. I'm not making any money on this. She just loves Rick, and I pulled as many cool pictures of him off the internet as I could, and I'm putting in there for her. personal use, no copyright violation. Not making any money, just making my friend's heart beat faster every time she finds a new picture. Anyway, so here's back to my book. This one, Wreck-it Rita, as you can see, Holy Hannah, this went right down to the spine, which I reinforced. This is white duct tape, and I put it up on the glued spine of this and up on the glued spine of this, so it's all still secure. It's very secure. This one, the pages, it wasn't bound that way, and so I just tore a lot of pages out of here. I'm pretty confident that it's sturdy. I'm not worried about these things coming apart. The book itself feels everything feels solid, but you could run glue down in there, white glitter glue probably, because it dries nice and clear. It's not goopy like the Fabri-Tac, and just run some down there, let it dry overnight, run some down there, or cut a small, because this is a very small, compared to this, I mean, this is huge gap, and that's the difference between the binding. This is a very small gap, but if you could cut, you know, a little piece of off-white duct tape or clear packing tape or something, if that would make you feel better. There's all kinds of ways to do it, to reinforce it, but quite frankly, I don't think it needs it. It's very solid, so I'm not going to worry about it. This is a brand new one. This book I've played with a lot, taking this in and out, making different signatures, and it's kind of my sizer to make sure things fit and whatnot, and I've had it open and closed and open and closed, and this too seems very solid. I'm not worried about it coming apart. So that's my thing. The new things that I'm covering is altered book combo with traveler's notebook style insert. Yes, it is possible. How cool is that? You don't have to decide on one or the other. And of course, these pages could all be done junk journal style. So you can use all your junk journal embellishments. You're using all kinds of old pages to make flowers and pockets and seed packets and corner tucks and belly bands. That all can go in here. So you can have it all. You can have an altered book that has a traveler's notebook style journal writing space in the center, decorated all up junk journal like. So you can have it all, which I am all about, quite frankly. I don't like to have to pick one or the other. If I like them all, I want them all, and I'll find a way to do it. That's what I do. The other thing is start yourself a Wreck-it Rita. Find an already ruined, you know, sometimes your books come with broken corners, or they're ugly covers, or they're a different crappy size. Find yourself a Wreck-it Rita type playground. My goal with her is to be as wrecked and ugly. She was going to be an ugly journal, just, you know, because I don't care what she looks like. And so she was going to be ugly Eula, because I thought Eula was kind of an ugly name. One last thing I'd like to share here about my take at the lake is that what I notice is that I believe, I'm going to try and say it right, Shannon Green, I believe she has a Big Bertha glue book, her en masse, you know, just the bigger the better for no reason. And I think she calls it Bertha. I'm not sure. I've only seen it once. But then what I see is people who are fans of Shannon, they have Big Bertha, and they have Big Bertha. And now Big Bertha is all over the space. I'm all about creativity. We are creative people here. That's what crafting is. It's a way to explore our creative side. And because of my day job as a creative consultant, creativity coach, etc., I'm here to encourage you to, if you do a Wreck-it Rita style journal, give her her own name. Yeah, come up with something that appeals to you. Don't just copy me. Certainly take the idea and run with it, But, so I've taken the liberty of coming up with some other names. So Wreck-it Rita is this girl. It could be also Wreck-it Rachel, Wreck-it Rochelle, Wreck-it Ruby, Wreck-it Ruth, Wreck-it Renee, Wreck-it Rebecca. I like that one. Had I thought of that earlier, this would be Wreck-it Rebecca. Or Ruin It Rachel, Ruin It Rochelle, because that's what we're doing. Our goal is to ruin it. Sometimes we don't do it, but that's all right. Or Screw It Up Sally, Screw It Up Sarah, Screw It Up Scarlet. If you want to make an ugly journal, make it Ugly Ursula, Ugly Uma, Ugly Eula, Ugly Ursa. You know, have some fun with it. So those are some of the ideas that are coming ahead, is how to take someone's idea and put your own spin on it. Don't just be creative in the journal, but creative all over the place, because again, that's my day job. I think everybody should be more creative in every area of their life. Yes, this is a cross promotion from this channel to that channel and podcast. That one is called The Lake is My Muse. It hasn't quite launched yet. I will keep you posted on that. But that is how to be more creative in all areas across the board, in all kinds of ways. How to be more creative and the reasons to do that. In fact, my day job is why this channel exists. As I said, I'm a creative facilitator. I teach creative workshops and seminars, college courses, etc. on creativity, the creative process, etc., etc. And it occurred to me when I was writing scripts for the podcast, I'm not really creative in, like, I used to do scrapbooking. I'm a watercolorist. I can't remember the last time I dug my paints out and just painted. I also do pen and ink sketch work, pen and ink pet portraits and home portraits and stuff like that. And I haven't done that in years. A little bit here and there, but so I thought, well, a creativity coach and facilitator who doesn't have a creative outlet or hobby, of course my podcasts and YouTube channels are that. You know, it's super creative to make a video, and it's super creative to make presentations and take fun pictures and make the ads and the social posts and all that stuff. That is creative, but creative for work versus creative just for fun. So that is how this channel was born. I thought, I am going to do junk journaling because that just seems like right up my alley. So here we are, a few months down that road, and I am loving every minute of it. I hope this helps you. I know it's helped me put off doing my laundry and vacuuming and all that. Happy Saturday, K-Rap. You have a lovely, lovely day, and I'd love to see your Wreck-it Ritas. I think I will set up an Instagram account just because I'd like to see what other people do, run with our ideas, and I think it's a fun way to build a small community, but I don't want to waste any time on social, so it will be a small Instagram channel. That'll be that. You guys have a lovely, happy Saturday, or whatever day this is that you're watching it. You take care. My take at the lake out for now.